Good morning and welcome to City Council study session. We will be having a report from Marlene Feist and Elizabeth Shale. Please join us.
Good morning, City Council. Thanks for asking us to just do a quick update for you. So we're going to talk a little bit about PFAS today and sort of give you sort of the overview from a couple different things that are happening. So go ahead, Jacoby. So PFAS is actually sort of the global abbreviation. And PFAS, PFOA is what we talk about mostly, but PFAS is a sort of a suite of chemicals, and PFAS, PFOA are two of those chemicals under that suite. They started being made in the 30s and 40s, often referred to as forever chemicals because they're difficult to break down. Doug Greenland tells me that the fluorine-chlorine bond is the most difficult bond to break down in sort of the atomic world. So that's why they sort of last forever. And I probably just did that wrong, but you get the point. So they were used to repel water, to resist stains and grease, smother fires. They were used in firefighting foam as a result. They were used in clothing, so non-flammable clothing. So Betsy's of my era, we probably put our kids in non-flammable pajamas that had PFAS in it. Pots and
Which
pans.
they would have burned up if they caught on fire.
Yeah, right. Teflon, Scotchgard. Those are the kinds of things that PFAS is in. And a number of different manufacturers from 3M to DuPont and others. The largest problem area in our community is in the West Plains, where we know that Airway Heights in particular has had very large concentrations of these chemicals. And we've been their water purveyor effectively since 2017 as a result of that contamination. And then we're also seeing a contamination now at the airport being evaluated. So what's new? In the last week, the Environmental Protection Agency adopted the first ever drinking water standard at the federal level for PFAS contaminants. We have until 2027 to do sort of this initial testing and monitoring for these chemicals, and then we have until 2029 to implement a plan if we need to do reductions. Additionally, in the last few days, on April 12th, the city entered into litigation against the manufacturers of PFAS for contamination in drinking water. So it's really important for us. There's 11 causes of actions around product liability, negligence, and so forth, similar to the causes of action we had in our Monsanto case. We're a little bit at a different point, though. We weren't, in the Monsanto case, we were one of the original litigants in that case, one of the 12 named plaintiffs. In this case, we're coming into this case a little later in the process. There's already settlement discussions underway with 3M and DuPont and maybe another. And Johnson Controls. And so we have access to those settlements as a result of us filing a lawsuit. And those are around drinking water only. So that means that we know there could be actions related to PFAS in the solid waste stream, PFAS in the wastewater stream, and biosolids, other sort of lines of business that we have. So that doesn't change. Yes.
I'm just wondering, so in that lawsuit, was there any consideration, or is there still consideration for essentially, and I know it's not us directly, but essentially suing the FAA? The FAA forced the airport to use materials that cause PFAS to enter the ground, and so would not the FAA be an entity that should be litigated against?
So you could, but this doesn't do that, but yeah.
Yeah, so that's not something that we considered in our particular lawsuit against these companies. I'm not exactly clear on what the status of the airport is as far as filing litigation on the airport's behalf, as their own operating board and separate entity. We can check on that and get back to you. As so often happens when you file complaints, mostly it's due to timing. And in our case, the timing was that there was a new settlement reached with Johnson Controls, middle of last week, and it was kind of a turnaround time frame. And we'd been working on the complaint for about 9 months. Finally, we're getting to the point we were comfortable with it. So we jumped in at that point in time in order to get that extra bump up in the potential settlement from Johnson Controls. So if needed, and we decide that's a cause of action we want to pursue, we can go back and amend the complaint if needed.
And then one other question. Just given that one of the sources of this is like firefighting foam and whatnot, I know with electric vehicles, when they catch fire, it can take a pretty enormous effort to put those out. And I'm wondering if the special material that's utilized to put those out contains any PFAS in them. Have we looked at that?
I can't. We can look at that for you. I haven't asked that question. The jet fuel suppressants, they have them now without PFAS in them.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that there's a foam that can be used for those kinds of issues as well. If
Okay.
you can put out jet fuel, you probably can put out the battery fire.
I just want to make sure we're not knowingly utilizing stuff that's putting more PFAS out there while we're in the middle of litigation.
I don't think that you can really buy firefighting foam that has that anymore. Those have all been the manufacture of those foams have been ceased, pretty much.
So Marlene, I have a question. Since we're testing water and water is fluid, are we just based on when we test it if it has those certain levels? Because we might be in compliance today, and then we test in a year and we're not in compliance.
Right.
So the fluidity of these results.
Right. So on the litigation that we've filed, and the proposed settlements sort of take that into account. So we know what we've tested so far today, but we can amend our action against those manufacturers up until 2030. So if we see increasing levels of these chemicals in our detections, we can actually change that, and there's going to be a pot of money reserved. As long as we jumped into the litigation, we have the ability to say this has changed over time and to seek additional compensation under that lawsuit. And obviously, it is a moving thing, so we're going to have to keep monitoring based on the rules that we're seeing both from the state and at the federal level. So let's go to the next one. So as you know, we do pretty robust water quality testing for a whole bunch of different components, everything from, bacteria to, stuff like, forever chemicals. So for 2023, we've met all federal, state, and water quality requirements. In 2023, we did add new testing for PFAS and PFOA components. It was part of a state requirement at that point, and we're using a more sensitive test today than we had previously. We had done some earlier testing for these components, but it was always non-detect because the test wasn't as sensitive and wouldn't go down to these levels. So, a year ago, we briefed you on the testing we had done to date and the detections we had. And Jacoby, if you go to the next one. We're testing at all the source water wells, and we had detections at the Grace well and at the Ray Street well. So we've done additional testing and monitoring at those wells in particular. Yes.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
No, you're good.
So for the wells, does each well, I guess, connect to sort of its own aquifer basin? I'm just trying to understand sort of the geology of it. Because how does one maybe have a higher level than another if it's all coming from the aquifer? I guess is my question.
Yeah, and in some places the aquifer moves more slowly and faster. Some places there's different levels of gravels, and so in some places things get stuck, and some places it's flowing through. Okay. So it kind of depends. And we were seeing when you look at our results and you see and the results of other purveyors in the region, we're seeing, for whatever reason, we're seeing more detections to the south than the north. And so, so those kinds of things need to be investigated. Yeah. To your point. And so all of our wells are to the east. Where Airway Heights is its own aquifer, so remember that. So there, ultimately there might be some exchange, further up, 9 mile-ish area, but for the most part, they are a self-contained aquifer in more of a bowl, so they don't have the same kind of fluid transfer. So, so theirs tends to kind of just sit, right? Because they don't. Ours is more moving than that aquifer in the West Plains area. Go to the next one. So you can see these are our at Gracewell. We've had the 2 parts per trillion of PFOS and a non-detect for the PFOA component. And you can see Ray Street, we've done a bunch more testing there. So we've had varying results, to your point, Council President. One day we have a 2 and one day we have a 6. Actually, we've had one as high as 6 parts per trillion. So we really do need to get a handle on why we're seeing that and if there's stuff we can do from a, how we're doing it. And not every well, right? So each well isn't a single well. It often, in many cases, we have multiple actual holes in the ground, if you will. So we call it the Havana Street well, but the new one there, I think, is going to have 5 actual locations. And we are seeing varying results between one and another. And so, we're at really, really low detection. So 2 is like the absolute detection limit. So as we've seen with PCBs, these things aren't perfect. So that's why you can see this kind of variation. And so we need to understand more. So, we're looking at those rules from EPA to be able to understand more. What is a 4 mean versus a 2? What is, what are these numbers actually mean?
Does the technology exist to do real-time testing?
You still have to send it to a lab.
Do you?
So there isn't a way to just have it be constant monitoring. You
Okay.
still have to do a sample and send it to a lab
And
for
how
evaluation.
frequently do we do that for each well, or
It
how does
takes
that
a
work?
while, so you have to, take your sample, make sure that you have your sample, send it off, so it's between sample time and results time is usually, multiple weeks.
Okay. And how,
Yeah.
how many times throughout the year, or do we do that?
So I'm not sure what the testing schedule is. We just added more to the Ray Street because we were trying to understand it. But I don't know what the rules say specifically on the cadence of the testing. And it depends, right? So like that bacteria testing that we do for E. coli, there's like every other day. It's like 180 tests a year or something like that we do versus other things which are once a year. Some of them are on an every other year schedule. So it just depends on the component and what the testing compliance is.
And
So-
Marlene, just on your slide up there, so the test from 2015 to now,
Yeah.
like, just technology, significance?
Yeah, so the test method has changed dramatically. So in the test we were using in 2015 is different than today. It could not test down to the levels that we're testing today. So it wasn't sensitive enough to get to those 2.2 parts per trillion, 4 parts per trillion detections. So the new test is more sensitive. But it can be, when you get to these sensitive levels and you're getting on the edge of the testing limits, you can have inaccuracies as a result. Doug could tell you this better. This was just our put it in perspective, right? So we're talking about 2 and 4 parts per trillion. The contamination that they saw or are seeing in the aquifer in the West Plains, 1,500 parts per trillion, 1,700 parts per trillion. So you can see the difference and why we immediately changed their water source, right? It was much more of an emergent need to make sure that we were immediately changing what the community had access to as far as drinking water. Very different than what we're talking about in terms of what we're seeing in our system. And remember, nobody really gets water just from one well. By the time it moves through our system, you're getting mixed water. So the likelihood that someone is even at that detection limit of 2 or 4, it's being diluted out based on, so that's the other thing we need to understand is where does the water go? How does it get delivered to the customer? But it's a system, right? And all of our wells are not used year round. Our workhorses are well electric and park water. So when the water use goes down in the wintertime, we don't need to use all the wells. We use just a couple of the production wells.
Go ahead, go ahead, Councilman Cathcart. Thank you, Marlene.
Yeah, is there any cutting-edge filtration systems that's able to remove any of this from the water?
Yeah,
drinking water?
so they're using granule activated carbon filtration. Has been quite successful. So we're the Airway Heights does have a system that they can use on one of their wells if they want to supplement in the summer, and they're getting good results out of it. So our team, Doug Greenland and others, some of our engineers out in the water department are planning a meeting with the Airway Heights engineers to take a look at what they're doing and the kind of results they're getting. The Department of Defense has bought house-size units for some of the people with exempt wells out there, so that aren't on the public water system. And my understanding is that they're doing well. I think the key is to make sure that you know when the filter medium is used up, right? And then what do you do for the disposal? And so there's new rules around destruction of these kinds of filter material that we need to look at as well to see what would be needed there in terms of that. But yes, and granular activated carbon isn't. I mean, I think, it can be expensive to install, that kind of thing, but it's pretty accessible versus, PCBs has a little, it's a little harder at that point. But, so all these things have their own intricacies, if you will.
I think some of those are being used on Fairchild Air Force Base since 2017 to help mitigate their PFAS issues. So Marlene, and I'm sorry, I don't get this more. So we have the wells on the West Plains that are not in our water system. We've been providing water to the Airway Heights. At what point do you think we need to consider we're no longer just a backup water source, but they are really, truly brought into our water system?
Yeah.
Officially, I guess.
Yeah, so they are a wholesale customer of ours. We provide water to a couple of connection points, and then they manage their distribution system to their businesses and residential customers. I don't anticipate that we would take over the distribution within their city, but we are working with Airway Heights. As you know, we came forward with a little additional water amount for them earlier this year. We approved an agreement for an additional 250 gallons per minute to Airway Heights, and we are in conversation with them about being basically their permanent supplier of water. They would still manage their distribution system, but their source would come we really are anticipating a long-term relationship. So we have an emergency, we still have an emergency provision in place in our water system with them. We're in conversations about converting that emergency provisions into permanent provisions, updating. Elizabeth has been working with their attorneys on updating our water service agreement to a modern agreement that incorporates those things. And they have funding available through the state using ARPA money for investments that they were thinking about making to bring them clean water from other places. They've determined really that their larger project that they were looking at probably isn't as feasible as they would like, so they would like to make those investments into our system. So we're going to be looking at bringing forward to you a way to capture their funding and have that be a way to get them access to more water over time. So there's a little bit of trickiness with the ARPA because we're going to use it on some current projects that are in the pipeline or under construction already. Is what we're looking at. It could be as much as $15 million, and then that would buy capacity over time, not immediately. So that's exciting.
Are these all West Plains projects then?
So right now we're looking at putting those investments into sort of West Plains that are things that are underway. Not all of them are particularly going to help Airway Heights' water needs, but we're going to basically allow for those things to be spent on current projects and then buy sort of the investments that they would need to invest in the system so that we can expand other things over time to enable us to serve them long term. And it makes sense. I mean, Spokane, we're in the position to be the regional water purveyor. I know a lot of you have been talking about this with Elizabeth on terms of what does it mean to be a regional water purveyor. And it means that we need to step up and figure out how we can serve our customers collectively.
And we've got areas up north too where I think we need to resolve some of that as well. So.
Right. And there are issues. I mean, Whitworth Water is the second largest district in system in the community, and they do a great job up there, but there's still some gaps.
Yeah. Well, and I'm talking just in the PDA. We've talked about this before.
Right. There's that part is,
Yes.
Whitworth is pretty big over, a little bit further.
Yep.
But directly up in the new area of the PDA, there is some missing water service for sure. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Councilor McCliskey.
Are there any other local water purveyors that are likely to be affected by this that we might end up serving?
Well, what we're seeing outside of the West Plains is low-level detections like in our system, right? So there's been a couple of purveyors in the valley that have had similar type of these, couple parts per trillion type detections. I don't anticipate that that would be what would be a problem. I mean, they'll have to deal with it just like we are. So I'm not seeing the same level. I am concerned about, and it may not be us as this total solution, but we do have connections, wholesale agreements with Medical Lake. Medical Lake has a wholesale agreement with Four Lakes. So, there are other West Plains communities working and providing water from that aquifer that have yet to see what Airway Heights is seeing, but it's certainly a potential.
I have to, just before you go, say, after I read the article, I think there were like 9 different water districts in the article around PFAS in our area.
Oh, that had some low-level detections.
Yes,
Yeah.
I mean, so first of all, I know there was that many water districts in the regional area that
Yeah.
never thought about before, and where they fell into this, but they're all coming out of the same aquifer?
Yes. Yes, and that's where we're trying to, if the state had these requirements first, so Washington actually has a better understanding of PFAS in their systems than most other states. So Washington had a rule in place in which we started testing under a year ago. And so the new EPA, we have a little bit of a leg up on what EPA is asking from us because we've already started that. The state has a map. They have a website with a map showing all the different results from across the state. And what you're seeing is that some of these low-level detections are happening all over the place. I mean, some of this is just become ubiquitous in the environment, which is, sort of the reason for some of these lawsuits, right? It's escaped from where it was supposed to be, right?
I guess the reason I'm concerned is like Whitworth is rumored to be running out of their water right. So they may be trying to merge with us in some way in the future. So if they're not joining in on the lawsuit, are we taking liability that we could have fought harder for if they did? Or would we add that liability into the lawsuit if we became responsible for Whitworth? Just not sure.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't anticipate, I think that there are a lot of water systems that are sort of bumping up against their water rights allocation, and that will be that's a completely, separate kind of conversation. I don't anticipate us necessarily taking over those systems, but maybe working with them. We do have an emergency intertie Whitworth with Whitworth Water already, and so we're just trying to keep conversations going. Or I think right now they do have a water application to move out of the Little Spokane and into the main aquifer to move some of those water rights because they don't want to draw from the Little Spokane, which is more.
Senior.
Yeah.
But are they joining the lawsuit as well?
I don't know. I haven't asked that, but I will send that note up to Tim Merrill and ask him if they plan to do that and whether they have any detections. Because without any detections at all, there isn't a payout for you if you can't show. So it depends on what they've seen. And like I mentioned to Councilmember Cathcart, of the districts that have seen detections, we've seen primarily. South of the river, not north, for whatever reason. And that can change, as we know, but that's what we're seeing so far.
Okay, well, I just hope if we join, they all join that have detections so that we can
Yes,
do this
yes,
together.
yes. And encouraging others to take these steps is important. Agreed.
Any other questions for Marlene on this? Thank you, Marlene. It has been front and center for the whole community for a while now, and us join that lawsuit, which Libby will probably take us a little deeper into it.
Yeah.
What we need to know.
Yeah.
We'll probably have updates on this periodically as we go forward.
Right. And, every year we put out our consumer confidence report to our customers. So there was information on this that went out to all the customers. Last year will be this year. So it's an ongoing conversation. It's really about putting risk in perspective, right? So we face lots of things in our modern world that we wish weren't there. But at the same time, what I can tell you is that we have a better understanding of what's going on in our community than most other places. The the detections are low enough that they can be managed, and people shouldn't, you know, there's other things right now that probably are greater health risk than those. So that would be the other message, is that we need to put all these things in perspective. We need to make sure that we understand how that comes together versus something, like I said, if we saw the levels or anywhere near those levels in Airway Heights, we would be having a completely different conversation with this council. So, thank you.
All right, Libby, you gonna come up? Libby, gonna come speak to the city water board? No, I'm officially, we're the water board. We've never all sat together and called ourselves that, so.
Right, yeah. That's my term of art. That's not necessarily an official
Yeah.
term of art, but that's a way to understand what it means to be a legislative body in charge of a water system. And I think I've met with everybody here on water. So thank you for setting that up.
Yeah. Any other questions for Libby around water? All right. Any other questions for council this morning? Hearing none, we are adjourned. Thank you. Thank you again, Marlene and Libby.